Hello there, you're listening to Family Planet365. I'm your host, Malena Jackson, and welcome. I am so glad that you are here. I know that we are officially entering tax season. And, I don't know about you, but I find taxes less taxing, you get it, when you're organized. And that's why we're here today. It's something that you prepare for versus reacting to. And all my life, I just remember tax season being so stressful for the family. Oh my God, here come taxes. And then April 14, you're losing sleep. And, excuse me, and then April 15th comes and the line is long at the post office. It's almost didn't everybody know that tax season is the same time every year? So why are we all rushing to the post office? Why are we all scurrying around trying to figure out how to get our taxes prepared? Well, today I have a tax expert here to talk to us about how to be smart about taxes. Excuse me, something's going on with my throat. But I have an expert here to talk to us about how to be smart about taxes, and she will answer some of the most common questions when it comes to taxes and your family. Today's show is brought to you by The Nanny Factory. Valentine's Day is right around the corner. Do you have plans? I know I do. Contact The Nanny Factory to learn more about the Nanny Registry. It's perfect for parents who want a night out on the town or just need some time away without all the hassle of juggling childcare. Who wants to do that? Visit the website at thenannyfactory.com to learn more. Calling all parents. Mark your calendars for Saturday, January 23rd for the 3rd annual Santa Clarita Preschool Fair. The Santa Clarita Preschool Fair is a community-wide open house that is free for the community and is a great way to learn about the top preschools and family-friendly businesses in the area. Come early to receive a swag bag. The Santa Clarita Preschool Fair will be held on Saturday, January 23rd from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. at the Valencia United Methodist Church across from Henry Mayo. To learn more, you can go to the scvpreschoolfair.com. I hope to see you there. I'll be there. You're listening to Family Planet 365 on AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, Malena Jackson, and today we're talking about taxes. What's your relationship with taxes? Do you dread them or do you love them? It really doesn't matter how we feel. It's something that still has to be done. Whether you do it this year, next year, 3 years from now, it's going to catch up with you. To help us be smart about our tax filing, we have a very special guest today. We have tax expert, owner, and founder of Tax Smart Solutions, Bianca Bonilla. She has over 10 years of tax experience. She spent 9 of those years working for the largest national income tax preparation company in the United States. And as the owner of Tax Smart Solutions, Bianca and her team offer remote and face-to-face income tax preparation services, as well as cloud accounting services for small businesses. And let me just say, when I met Bianca for the first time, it was so refreshing to meet a tax expert who was chill. She's because usually when you meet an accountant or someone who does taxes, they're stuffy, they're older guys, no offense, but she's just chill and she's smart and she knows how to file your taxes right. So I am so happy to have Bianca Bonilla here. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation.
My pleasure. And am I pronouncing your last name correctly?
Bonilla.
Bonilla. Oh, Bonilla. Bianca Bonilla. I want to say Bonilla. It's Bianca Bonilla. Bonilla. So the L's are silent.
Not really. In Spanish, you kind of pronounce them, but yes.
So say it in Spanish, Bianca.
Bonilla.
Bonilla. Okay. Bianca. So Bianca is correct, though.
It is.
Okay. I just want to clear that up just in case you Google her or something. So it's Bianca Bonilla. Okay. So Bianca, welcome to the show. You know, we are entering tax season, obviously, and I'm so glad to get you here before you get inundated with calls and clients and numbers and the drama. What do you say? How did you get started, first of all? You have Tax Smart Solutions, so that's your business, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, tell me about your journey. How did you get started in that?
Well, the tax journey started when I was younger, when I actually didn't know about taxes. So I started working when I was 17. My parents helped me file my first taxes. And then when I went solo, then I owed taxes. And I really didn't understand why. I didn't know why. So I walked into a tax preparation office and they were going to charge me a lot of money. And I owed, and I just didn't know. So it turns out that I filled out my W-4 incorrect. So I needed to find out a way to correct my mistake. And then I took an income tax class, and it all started
At 17?
Actually, I was 22 when I took the class.
Okay, so you started working at 17.
Yes.
And then by the age of 22, you realize, like, who is FICO?
Right.
No, it's not FICO. Who is it, FICA?
Who's the federal?
Who is that, right? And so 22, you decided to take the tax class.
Yes, 22. I graduated by 23. It was a summer class. It was like an accounting class. So I found that very interesting. I like numbers. So I've been doing taxes since then.
Wow. So you fell in love with numbers and okay. Wow. You're the first person that I've really met that loves numbers. Okay. Got it.
I think all accountants will say that.
I know, right? Yeah. It's like this perfect mix. Okay. So you take this accounting class and then what? So you go work as a tax preparer?
I do. I started working as a second job during tax season. So I like to vacation a lot, and I took that extra job for my vacation money. So that's how I started. I had an accounting job in the morning, and at night during tax season, I was doing taxes.
Okay. And then so what made you start your own company, Tax Smart Solutions?
It started a couple of years ago when I needed to give myself a job when I got laid off. And having the experience of accounting and taxes, I wanted to do something different. I knew that the industry needed a new face, a new product, a new price as well.
Okay.
So, and I wanted to educate, the younger crowd, like, everybody, and help the communities and just educate them and have them become tax smart.
Nice. And so I love that name because when you hear it, you think, oh, that's a franchise. But then it's like, no, this is Bianca's company. And I love how, like, if you go on the Facebook page or Instagram, it's refreshing. Like, it's fresh, it's new, it's innovative. And you talk a lot about cloud accounting, how we are now, we should be doing our books in the cloud, so to speak.
Correct.
Tell me a little bit about that. I know we're kind of going off a little bit, but I wanted to just get to that because that's the innovation you bring to the accounting world.
Right.
Tell me about cloud accounting.
Well, accounting in the cloud is what's coming in the next 5 years. So there's not going to be more software. There's not going to be more desktop. So when I first started with the taxes and I needed to add the bookkeeping for small business owners that I know they struggle a lot with their books. And so I wanted to offer that service. And it took me a while to figure out what is that I wanted to do. And I encountered a few companies that wanted to offer me different solutions. So I'm not going to say names, but I did found one that I was very interested on, the platform that they have, and it's very easy, user friendly, and it's on the cloud, and I'm mobile all the time. I like to travel, so I can be anywhere and be working, and it's the platform you have access to from your phone, from your laptop, from your iPad, and the cloud too also works for taxes. So yeah, we can service anybody in any state, even if international.
That makes it like more international and global.
It's global, correct.
But how safe is it? Because like you hear things about like the cloud got hacked, people they can log into your account. Is it truly safe, Bianca?
It is. The softwares, they use the same security system as the banks use. So if we're using online banking, then we should be using the cloud for all of our transactions.
Oh, I like that analogy. Yes. So if you're online banking, then there's no question you should be using the cloud.
Yeah, it's the same. You should trust it.
Well, I like when you talk about, cloud accounting makes it mobile for you on your phone, your tablet, your iPad. How do we stay prepared all year? Like, what advice would you give to an individual who might scurry? Like, here we are in January, then April 4th comes around. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to file my taxes. What can we do all year long? Like a little bit, every day or every week or every month, so that when April comes, we're just like, okay, whatever, it's good.
My friends won't laugh at this, but they know what I'm talking about. I always tell them, take a picture of the receipts, put them in a shoebox, just get them organized throughout the year. So at the end of the year, you're not looking for the receipts or you lost this receipt. And there are so many apps during summer. I learned I took a class I had an app overload. There's so many apps that you can just take a picture and it stores the documents for you. Even stores them by category.
What?
So it shouldn't be much of a hassle anymore with all the technology that is out there.
Oh, so you said take a picture. So you don't just take a picture, you use an app that tells you what to do and it stores it for you? Or if you don't have an app, you could just take a picture of your receipt and then what, do you just save it in your phone?
Yeah, so save it on a file on your phone. You can email them to yourself, or you can just upload them into a folder into your computer. Just keep them there. I know business owners especially, they lose a lot of receipts. So if you have the receipt right there, take a picture, store it somewhere, and then either upload it to the computer, to a file, I'm sure that there's some free apps I use for business, some paid apps that are very good for small business owners. But as an individual, as a small business owner, there might be some apps out there that can help you store receipts for your accounting and bookkeeping.
Oh, okay, so you use technology to its fullest as far as helping you stay organized. Correct. And getting, okay, because the receipts, so that's the biggest thing, are the receipts.
And if you see, we use it now too. You take a picture and just scan, instead of a scanner, now you're taking a picture. So just take a picture, store it, have it there somewhere, I don't know, make a folder out of it on your phone for receipts if you don't want to use an app.
And then, so if you're not cloud accounting, then how do you get that to the accountant? You just email them the...
Correct. All we need now on the cloud is the picture PDF format of your receipt, or just a picture of your receipt. That's all we need.
Oh, and so the IRS, like if you were ever audited, that accounts for,
right.
I guess
Correct.
that counts as a receipt.
Yes.
If you take
Yes.
So we don't have to like have shoe boxes of receipts anymore.
Not anymore. You can completely be paperless.
I have like a stack of receipts, like with
Which is
rubber bands
good.
around them.
Which is
but
good.
they're like 3 years old. I've been holding on to them just in
Well,
case.
you should keep them for 3 to 7 years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, but moving forward, like say 2016, I don't need to keep the receipts.
No,
Just take a
if you
picture.
go on the cloud, you go mobile or paperless, you can use those apps to help you not have all those receipts. So, like as far as accounting, we store those files for 7 years. We have them. So every transaction is recorded with a receipt attached, with an image receipt attached. If we need to print it for IRS or other purposes, it's right there.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that when you were 17, you went to file taxes and it was expensive. What advice would you give to, I guess, a younger person who has a little job at the mall and they must file taxes? Because sometimes you go into these corporate, like the H&R Block or whatever, and it can be quite expensive, because you made me think about when I was working at the grocery store. And I remember I probably earned, Bianca, I would even say like $8,000 for that year, but I ended up paying like $250 or so for taxes or my tax preparation. I just remember like, ouch, is there a way, like, should they file like through TurboTax? Should they do their own tax filing?
Well, I think every taxpayer should consult a professional. Okay. I know there are softwares out there that do it for free.
Yeah.
You miss a lot of deductions that could be taken. Maybe you're filing the wrong the wrong form. Maybe you're taking the wrong deduction, and you can actually be audited for that. The IRS might be sending you letters because you picked credits that don't belong to you. So, if you know what you're doing, use just the free services that they have. But if you have questions, like you mentioned, you were $8,000. Maybe you still live with your parents. Maybe you were going to school. Maybe your parents can still claim you as a dependent. And don't miss those deductions, those exemptions, those school credits, because your parents can still claim you as a dependent even though you're working. As long as you're going to school, they're paying more than 50% for your
tuition.
They can still claim you.
So you're saying don't try to do it yourself, then just seek professional help? Is that the best route?
If the case is you earn $8,000 and you're still living at home with your parents, and most of the time your parents can still claim you as a dependent, and you can still file your taxes on your own.
Okay.
Yes. So it's not that I work, I have a little part-time job, my parents cannot claim me. That is not.
Okay. Yeah, because you're not paying the rent or the mortgage.
Right,
so
so you can still, your parents can claim you as a dependent on their return, and you can still file your own taxes.
Okay.
Yes. The only you don't claim your exemption. That's the only, because your parents need it, but you might not need it because your income you don't need that exemption
I
on your
see.
return.
Yeah, I get that. So you just because you have a little job, don't say, "Oh, well, they can't claim me,"
Right?
Because they have more deductions and they get more exemptions. Is that what you said?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Your parents will benefit more claiming you than you, and also for education credits as well. So your parents might benefit if the impact is it's higher on the parents' return than the part-time worker.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense because it's more money involved, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So if you go to talk to a professional, they will advise you, this is how much you will get, or this is how much deduction will be, or the credits will be if you claim this credit, or if your parents claim the credit, and you will see the difference. I mean, yeah. So we try to. So if you do it at home with using a software, you might not know all of those things. They just go through the questions, go to the questionnaire, and based on what you answer, that's the credits they're going to give you. But then, the computer might not know that you still living at home, that someone else still provides 50% of your expenses. Yeah, correct.
Well, what is the difference between like having an accountant like who does it out of their home? I don't even know if there is a difference, but how do you determine whether you go to like some place like Tax Smart Solutions, because you have a brick and mortar, right? So you just walk in. Correct. Or hiring the lady who does taxes from her home. Does it just come down to like what you prefer, or is there something like you should look out for when you're making that consideration?
Well, the first thing I will say is make sure that they're licensed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, because you might find someone that is doing it from home, but they're not licensed. So you can go to the government's website and make sure that your tax preparer is licensed.
What website is that?
CTEC.org. Yeah.
CTEC. What does that stand for? CTEC. So the letter
California
C?
Tax. God, I don't know.
Oh, so it's an acronym.
Correct.
So is C the letter C?
CTEC. CTEC.
CTEC. Okay, so CTEC.org. And then you type in the accountant's name?
Oh, correct. You can find it by last name, or we actually have a number. Every year, we're supposed to renew our license with the state of California. So we have to take continuous education every year to make sure that we're in compliance with the federal and the state. So the first thing you do before you go to someone's home, make sure that they are licensed.
Okay.
Yeah, but or you can simply go to the website and make sure that they're licensed. So if they're licensed, it means that they're complying with their education credits.
Okay, that's what that means. If you're licensed, you're compliant. So you know what the latest tax laws are, and you can look out for the client. Because you know what gets me? A lot of celebrities, like when they have to file bankruptcy or they get audited by the IRS, and you know how they take all their money, and they blame it on the accountant. They're like, I thought my accountant was doing this. What does that really mean? Like, can we just safely hand things off to the accountant and be okay? Or how do we oversee what our accountants are doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, they just easily just blame the accountant.
Correct. What we do at TaxSmart is we go through the whole interview. So you come in, we interview. We want to get to know you, your special tax situation. You give us the forms, and we want to look also at your previous year's return, because we don't want to miss any credits or income that you might have last year, but you forgot to bring it this year. And like you mentioned, being organized, you know what your income it's going to be. Okay. And for this year. Okay. And you also, when you come into the office, you might not have someone's social security number or date of birth, and especially if your family's big, we need all of that information. So you need to come prepared.
Oh, come prepared. Yeah. Okay. And then if you are planning to go into a tax office, when is a good time to, should we start now to beat the rush?
I will say there's two peaks. Okay. The first peak is, the taxpayers are receiving money. They're getting credits. So they want to get it as soon as possible, right? You just spend a lot of money during the holidays, and you just want to get your refund
back. Yeah, because people start posting on Facebook like the end of January. They got their
correct. So refunds. The IRS this year opens January 19th. Okay. And as of now, we're already filing taxes, but the IRS will accept them electronically on the 19th. So the rush, I say, 2 weeks after that, everybody's going to rush to do whoever's getting the refund. And then, it comes down. And then the other rush comes probably like the end of March, the first 2 weeks of April, where the last minute filers come with a lot of papers and they owe money. They want to leave it for last minute. They don't want to go through it so those are the two peaks for tax season.
Okay, so the peaks are January 19th and to probably the end of January.
Probably, I would say mid-February.
Oh, mid-February.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have 2-3 weeks where you're like constantly doing taxes. And then you have another, mid-March to April, you're busy again because then you're filing the most complicated returns, business returns, and people that are waiting, procrastinators that are doing it at the end. So my advice for all those procrastinators out there is get your paperwork together. Come early March. And
March, okay.
Yeah, and this is something taxpayers don't know too. If you're ready to file your return, don't wait until April. Filing your return early doesn't mean you have to pay in February. You can file your return if you have a balance due. You can file your return, let's say March 1st, but then you send your payment in April 15th.
Oh, and so it's almost good to do that because then you'll know and you can plan for what you owe and then send it in at the deadline instead of filing an extension.
Yes, and it gives the tax preparer more time to work on your tax return.
I love
because
that,
if you only you become like the 13th, the 14th, and you want to spend 6 hours doing a tax return, you might, it's busy. Everybody wants to get it done. We want to get it done. And we just, mistakes happen. So we don't want to make a mistake on your return. So come early, bring the paperwork early. We'll have the time to do it. And then make sure you're getting every deduction that you deserve.
I like that. This is a good time to take a good break to digest all the great information we've received from Bianca. When we return, Bianca will share more about tax deductions that often go overlooked. Stay tuned.